Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Retro Warriors episode 520. Woo! As always, I'm your host, Justin Baker, and as always, I'm joined by Viable Human Chris Saturn.
Now I've got the Munsters theme stuck in my head.
I mixed it up with the Addams Family, and they're not even really similar, except that they're both monster-themed sitcoms.
Yeah.
But musically, they're different.
They're very different musically.
We just finished like a 30-minute pre-show.
Yeah.
If ever there was a sales pitch for getting the uncut version of the show for only $1 an episode, $4 a month, it's 30. It's a whole half a show additional this week.
Frequently.
Holy shit, man. Yeah, really. Last episode I think was 20 minutes. So it adds up. Continually.
A lot of extra me and you BSing, and sometimes me and you and Guy BSing, and occasionally me, you, Guy, and Andrew BSing.
It's I was looking at it, and our record times on the uncuts are more often than not over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty close to 2 hours pretty regularly.
Now, granted, we're not talking about video games on the uncut.
No, we try to save that for the show.
Yeah, if you're one of the people that only wants to hear us talk about video games, you've already clicked the timestamp in the description and jumped to the video game.
You have no idea what's going on right now.
Those people aren't here. It's just us cool people here in this section of the show. This
just
is our second show of the night.
Nerds and dweebs.
Second show of the night, in case anyone's not picked up on that energy. It's currently 11:30 p.m. I'm very tired. The caffeine is worn off.
Whose fault was that?
Mine, I guess. I should have had more caffeine, but I did not.
Either that, or you should have forced us to have shorter pre-shows.
No, impossible. I had to get out. I had to get all of that out. It was in me. Housekeeping. The next episode will release on the 10-year anniversary of our first episode. So episode 521. Yeah. Will be officially 10 years chronologically of us doing the show. And as far as I know, I don't think ever missing a Monday. I think we've hit every Monday for a decade. So,
and I don't think either one of us expected this to last 10 years.
It's when you go into something with no expectations,
right? It
was just like, let's do this thing for fun. For people that don't know, this is our fourth podcast. I mean, you weren't on some of the other ones, but this is at least your second or third.
Yeah.
And it's my fourth or fifth. We were involved in podcasts before this. They have all died. They're all lost to the ages.
And when we were starting this one, I remember the way you approached me about it was, all right, so we're kind of like breaking up and splitting off that old show. And do you want to do a video game thing just kind of as a side thing to all these others? And I was like, sure, why not? And here we are 10 years later, and it's the only one that survived.
Here we are. I think about it. I think about it a lot, really. Like, what is the end of the show look like?
Heat death of the universe.
The heat death of something.
Yeah, right.
And it's the saddest thought. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we get really old and one of us croaks, and that would be it, I guess. But then I'm like, I don't know. I think we'd still keep doing it. Maybe it'll be like one of those bands from the 80s that you're like, what do you mean they're still touring? You look it up, and like all the original members are gone. They've been replaced with, I don't know. I have no idea what it looks like.
I can just imagine somebody 30 years younger than us coming in and taking our spot and talking about, the old days of Roblox.
I think 2,000 episodes. We'll say that 2,000 episodes will be that'll be it. That'll be episode 2,000.
Then when we get to that point, we'll be like, oh, we're not that far off from the 20-year mark, so we might as well, go a little bit further at that 20-year mark.
And then that's it.
40-year mark. That would be the 40-year mark.
Yeah, but then that's it. 40 years of Retro Warriors. No more, no less.
Definitely the end.
That's all you get.
But then we're getting close to 5,000.
You get half of one lifetime of Retro Warriors. No more, no less.
Yeah.
Please space it. It's like when they you win those lifetime supplies of things that they used to do, like in contests in the 80s. Yeah. And then they deliver just 100,000 pudding cups to you and be like, space them out.
Yeah.
What's that line from Community? That one guy is like, I came down here with 50 years of cocaine, which only lasted 5 years. Second show of the night. My week. I've been reading a book. I wanted to mention it's really good. It's by Robin Sloan. It is called Moonbound. And I picked it up, and I read infrequently these days. I'm just kind of busy to sit down and dedicate time to a novel, and every time I'm like, I could be playing a game.
Reading is the thing I do before bed, so I pretty consistently read, but it never occurs to me as a thing that I'm doing. It's just a thing that I do.
This is one of the. It's been a while since I've read a novel that I'm like, everything else is going to be on hold until I finish this because it's so good. And then I read too fast and I'm halfway through it in a day and I'm like, I need to slow down because I'm going to be so depressed when it's over. Really, really good, weird science fantasy novel. I think I talked about it on Talking Wizards, and it's been super good. I think it just came out. I literally bought it because of the cover, because I'm really picky about books, and my wife judges books by their covers. She literally looks at the cover and goes, "That's cool," and buys it. And the more she likes the cover, the more she likes the book, and I'm starting to think we were all fucking lied to about judging books by their covers, because I judged a book I was like, I'm going to do it. I saw it and I was like, I love this cover art, and I bought it and it's incredible. And I was like, you know what? I think maybe they were trying to keep this for themselves and they told us all not to judge a book by its cover. And then here I am. I've got the evidence that you can indeed judge a book by its cover. So not that Moonbound Saturn. What is this romance novel shit you just shared me?
I was looking for whatever the cover of this book you were talking about is, and that was one of the first Google results that came up.
No, it is by Robin Sloan.
I was like, this is probably it. This is what he was looking for.
But I also finally started Monster Hunter Wilds. Mm-hmm. It has been sitting in the shrink wrap on my shelf since I got it for $50 like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. And I will say, going into it, I had some trepidations. I voiced them in the Discord. I was a little upset, a little nervous about the break from the traditional Monster Hunter flow of, go back to town, do your stuff, eat your food, work on your gear, and it being very split from the gameplay portion of go out in the world, do monster hunting. Everything's very mission-based. There's a story, but mostly you're just doing mission prep. That cycle of gameplay that I really like.
Yeah.
And all of those fears were unfounded. Monster Hunter Wilds is phenomenally fun.
All right, I guess I need to play it more then.
It's, god damn it, it's so good. I'll say I don't give a hot fucking shit about the story, and there's a lot of it, but they let you skip cutscenes. It's fully voiced in English, or whatever voiced language of choice, but it is recognizable words. It's not Monster Hunter language. Your character is no longer a silent protagonist. They're voiced, which I kind of like. I kind of think that's okay. But like the story is it's there. It's fine. It's what excuses can we come up with to create problems that are solved by killing a big monster, right? You know, so eventually you're like, okay, it's getting a little ridiculous, like, oh no, my grandma is sick and dying, and the only ingredient that can help her is in the side of the heart of this big dragon, and you're like, I guess, fuck, man. So the story's good. It's okay, It's just sort of your standard, show up in a village has problem is solved by killing a giant monster or 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever.
Which platform are you playing it on?
I'm playing on PS5.
Okay.
And it's good. It's really good. You can really get scooped up in just playing story mission after story mission. It's really good about directing you, telling you, hey, go here now, talk to these people now. And then as you're doing it, it kind of in the background starts unlocking the more traditional Monster Hunter cycle of like just doing missions and running back and forth and doing your prep work. That you can kind of dive into that when you want. Because my concern was the way I play Monster Hunter is because the missions are timed in Monster Hunter. You'll know how much time, your time limit to fight the monster.
Right.
And so I'll be like, all right, this mission is 50 minutes long and it'll take me a few minutes to prep. So if I have 1 hour, I can do this hunt. And if I finish it quickly, I can maybe do another hunt. And so Monster Hunter was my game where when I knew I had only an hour to play, I could feel like I accomplished something. I did something, right?
It's fair.
And there was a couple times when I sat down to play this and I was like, oh, I'm kind of in mid-cutscene, mid-mission, mid-story stuff. And I kind of can't really do it like that.
Right.
But it's fine. It's really not been an issue. It starts to unlock the like extra missions and stuff on the back end. It seems like, because the way Monster Hunter used to be built is it would be, you have to do key missions. So like, here's 50 missions. You have to do 20 of them to progress the story. And they used to not tell you which 20. And then they started telling you, all right, we'll show you which 20. But then you'd see all the other missions and be like, well, I don't want to leave those undone. But the way the story works now is it's not even it's like, we're not even going to show you that shit. Here is the linear story that you may progress through, and if at any point you want to break from it and go see what else is going on, you can. And if you don't, you can just be on the roller coaster all the way to its termination point.
Nice.
The combat itself is so fluid. The off-brand chocobos are super fun to ride around on.
Yeah.
You get on your chocobo, you set it's not a chocobo. They're called secrets, which is the dumbest name.
It is.
But it'll auto walk you to your locations, so you
Yep.
can be crafting, going through your inventory, doing prep work while you're en route. You don't have to memorize the areas anymore, which if I were to lodge a complaint, and it's a minor one, it's that the old games used to demand that you learned the locales and that you actually explored in a realistic manner to understand the different areas and learn the different areas. This one, you really don't need to. You just
get
kind
on
of
your bird and tell where to go.
yeah, your bird knows to go there.
Yeah.
And I do a little bit miss that feeling of like,
You can kind of steer the bird a little bit.
you can. I mean, you can fully manually control the bird,
True,
but there's just no point in doing it. The bird
Right.
knows where to go.
Yeah.
But
It's
the
smarter
flow,
than me anyway.
the flow of the combat is great. The SOS system feels improved over World. I've been playing online, and it's awesome. I've been jumping in doing SOS flare missions to grind materials. It's fast. It's super cinematic. Some of the fights, because it's a spectacle game. I mean, part of fighting giant monsters is it looks cool on the screen, and they have got some really kick-ass spectacle fights that are just so cool to witness on the screen, you know?
If I had known you'd started it already, I would have gotten back into it a little more and tried to get far enough that I could play with you.
I'm sure we already can.
Okay.
How far are you?
I don't remember. It's been like a month and change since I've booted
Do
it
you
up.
remember the last big thing you fought?
No.
Have you fought a big thing in a lightning storm?
I don't remember.
Have you left the first area?
Is
it all sand dunes and shit?
Yeah, I'm still in sand dunes and shit.
All right, so I'm Hunter rank 5. I'm 2 areas past that, but we can still play. I assumed that you had picked it up and didn't want to hurt because I was like, I'm going to wait till you're into it, and then I'm going to get into it, and you kind of quit talking about it, and I didn't want to push you, so I was like, maybe you didn't love it. That's fine.
Yeah.
And so,
it
I'm
didn't
only
super click with me, but I'm willing to give it another shot.
I'm only 5.5 hours in.
Oh, okay.
Granted, I'm probably moving at a faster clip than you will.
Yeah. Because Steam tells me I'm 8.5 hours in, but I know I'm not past the sand area.
Yeah. So yeah, I absolutely. Part of Monster Hunter is high rank hunt. The game is built around getting help from higher rank hunters. So even me being higher rank than you and coming back and helping you is totally in the vibe of Monster Hunter. It's a thing the game expects and wants to happen. So yeah, we can absolutely play together. And so that not next week, 'cause I'm gonna be out of town, but I just realized I have to leave Monster Hunter at home. Oh God, what am I gonna do, Saturn? Why didn't I buy it on PC?
Just leave your PlayStation in sleep mode, and then you can remote into it and play it on your phone.
Good. It's an action game. It's lag. I will say the game runs pretty good on PS5. In combat, I've noticed no major slowdowns. Felt no major slowdowns. It's extremely fluid. In towns, it gets a little hitchy every now and again. But I'm willing to put up with that because you're just fucking in town making a new axe or whatever. Like, who cares?
The AMD software on my computer tells me that my computer runs it at 248 frames per second.
I'm in performance mode on PS5, so I doubt it's running nearly that good. But man, it has just been so much fun, massively fun. Very, very much enjoying it. Very much enjoying the story mode. It's been really good.
Well, Guy apparently also has that game.
Oh, Guy, you got to play this. You got to play Monster Hunter. We get one more. We got a full team. Yeah. I do also like that. Because I'm in offline mode a lot. That there are offline. So when you can do offline hunters, SOS flares, which is when you have other hunters come help you with a quest.
Right.
And SOS flares was a newer thing. In older Monster Hunter, like you had to have people join you on the quest before you set out. Right. In this one, you can be mid-fight and be like, I'm fucked. And you can fire an SOS flare and people will come help you mid-fight. It's really good. Nice. Oh, it's really good. Again, the story, nothing to write home about. It's your standard, like, we have big monster-related problems and you have a big sword. Let's work something out.
Yeah.
But I don't know that anyone was expecting emotionally impactful story from a game called Monster Hunter.
Yeah. I don't know. Mila Jovovich. She's
Yeah, there you
she's ready
go.
to bring your story.
There you go. No, this has more story than that fucking movie.
Oh yeah.
But man, just granted, I'm only 6 hours in, but unless the game just like explodes in my PS5, it has been phenomenally fun.
Nice.
I still love classic Monster Hunter. I still really do. I still love Generations Ultimate. I still recommend it to anybody that wants to go back and play classic Monster Hunter, but holy shit, man. This is instantly more fun to me than World or Rise by a good bit. There's little classic bits that I miss, but it's so fast, it's so fluid, it's so immersive, it's so cinematic, it's so fun. It's just that's the word I keep going back to. It's fun and it's immediate, and you don't have to stress about all the weird Monster Hunter-ness of like, I don't know how this shit works, and it doesn't tell me some information. It's just like, hey, here's everything. And we'll make recommendations, and we'll kind of let you ride the roller coaster, or you can jump off and go do other shit. It's been fantastic. So highly, highly, highly recommended. Super fun. Yeah. What you been playing, Saturn?
So I got the Tomb Raider HD remastered trilogy from GOG.
Oh.
And so I installed that to give it a shot, see how it was. And I am not impressed.
Oh.
It feels very vanilla. It feels very much just the PS1 games with well, you know, like it looks fine. It's got a nice little textured filter on it.
Sure.
They didn't add anything. They didn't add anything. It is the original games.
It's not an improvement over an emulator. Is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's I could have had just as much fun just pulling out my copy on Sega Saturn and playing that. But it's not bad. It just doesn't bring anything new to the table, and I was a little disappointed with that. Also, still playing Mario Kart, the new Mario Karts that came out. I will say a couple things.
Mario Kart Forza.
Yeah, Mario. Well, no, not really, because the free roam mode, one, is only available single player. And two, it's not even listed on the menu. Like when you turn on the game, it doesn't list it.
Yeah, my brother turned it on. He couldn't find it when we were checking out his Switch too.
At the bottom of the screen is a little indicator that says plus button free mode.
I didn't know it was a multiplayer. That's half the fun of Forza Horizon.
Yeah, so you can press the plus button and then it'll go into free mode, free roam mode. And you can just roam around, and there's these little P-switch challenges throughout the game that you can do.
I saw those,
They cool. Unlock costumes for some of the characters.
I kind of assumed there was, like, I saw that stuff in the free mode. I just assumed there was kind of more to it than that.
No, that's it. That's all the free roam mode is.
Oh. Well, that's a little disappointing.
But my one criticism that I have, because I wasn't, like, super sold on the free roam mode in the first place.
Sure, you're not a free roam mode kind of person anyway. That's not.
I was worried that was going to be most of the game and that it was going to lose all the old Mario Kart.
I was hoping that would be most of the game. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So my bigger complaint is when you are doing the Grand Prix, which is what I come to Mario Kart for, it still has the 4 races like normal, but in the traditional Mario Kart games, you would have 3 laps or so on each race, so that each race would be roughly the same amount of time.
Yeah. Well, or now 3 sections on one of those multi-section, but yeah.
But now you have the first race that you do, you have 3 laps or whatever. Okay. And then you, for the next race and for the next 3 races, you start already rolling. So it's a rolling start. And you start from the last race and have to drive to the next race. And so the first 2/3 of the leg of the next race is just you driving to the next race. Then you do 1 little lap of the last race and then you're done.
I see. I had assumed that the free roam was going to be you drive around and find little races to do.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Kind of like Forza, where like in Forza, you'll drive up to a location, there's like a flag, and it's like, hey, there's this type of race here. It's like a drift race or this race or a speed challenge or, Yeah,
unless there is something that I have not found yet. No, it's just you do little P-switch challenges and you drive around and that's it. So it's a little underwhelming for me as far as that goes, and also as far as the actual Grand Prix mode, I'm a little disappointed that I can't do 3 laps on every race. Because it only lets me do the 1 lap because I have to drive to it first. But it's still good. It's still a good game.
I mean, I watched him play for all. It looks fun. Yeah,
I mean it's fine for a Mario Kart, and I'm definitely going to get the money's worth out of it by the time I'm done with it, because it's Mario Kart. I'm going to end up playing it for 500 hours. But just a little, I expect they might add some stuff in DLC that adds some more to the free roam mode. And also they're going to add more courses eventually, because they said eventually they're going to have every course from every Mario Kart. I don't know how much I believe that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what they end up with in the end. Also, still playing Drop Duchy, which I had mentioned last time.
Yes.
And I was telling one of my coworkers about it because I was playing it at the office. And I explained what it was, and he says that sounds needlessly complicated. That sounds like something that's going to hurt your brain by the end. I was like, it is. It's exactly that.
It does hurt my brain.
And then he recommended a different game that will break my brain. And I haven't bought it yet, but I've been watching videos of it, and it is absolutely already breaking my brain. And it's 5D chess with multiverse time travel. And it's on Steam. You can get it right now. The title has
broken my brain. All right, hold on. 5D chess. Let's look at this.
So you start by playing chess, but then you realize you made a bad move, so you rewind and you change that move, but it doesn't rewind your game. It just splits off an alternate timeline where you made the different move, but the previous timeline is still going, but you and your opponent both have to now play on both timelines, but then they can rewind to a further back point and make yet another branch, but then you rewind the new branch that you made and make another branch. And so now suddenly you've got these different games going, but you're like, wait, what if I took my king from this timeline and moved him back in time? So now you have two kings on this timeline and no kings on the other timeline. So you've already lost that timeline.
Right,
but now
you have that timeline up to save the... I can't.
But now you have to have two kings that you're defending simultaneously. You can't have either of them in check, and you certainly can't have both of them in check. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Is what
the
I'm
amount
saying.
of shit that goes on my wish list during this segment of every fucking show.
So yeah, it's and then the best part of 5D chess with multiverse time travel is reading the reviews, because there's some brilliant reviews for 5D chess with multiverse time travel on Steam. And even if you don't end up playing the game, I recommend that you skim the reviews someday. There's already tens of thousands of them now, but some of them are just real solid.
This is my favorite one already. This is actually 60 because the timelines can interfere with each other. Let's do the news.
Yeah.
Let's see here. My word window is tiny.
Oh, no.
Here we go. The National Video Game Museum in Frisco, Texas discovered some never-before screens from an unreleased Atari 2600
screens.
What did I say? Never before screens. I combined them. Never before seen screens. They've never before screened these screens.
Yeah, these are from a unreleased game called Earthquake that was developed by, I think it was Howard Scott Warshaw, the same guy who made the Raiders of the Lost Ark Atari game.
Yeah, and E.T. Yeah. Pretty sure he's the E.T. guy. Yeah. So that's cool. Cool thing for our local DFW video game area. Yeah. Nexus Mods has changed ownership. People are already panicking about
I'm pretty worried about that.
Injection of venture capital. I'm also pretty worried. Nexus Mod, I go there a lot. I go there a lot for shit.
Yeah.
So this
is a good site. I don't want it to...
It's a great time for GOG to be adding mods to their platform so that at least maybe some of the more prominent ones can have a place to live.
Seriously.
Activist investment firm 3D Investment Partners have now become a major shareholder in Square Enix after increasing their ownership from 8.98% to 10.01%.
That's always concerning.
Yeah, I don't know what an activist investment firm is.
It's an investment firm that buys up companies with the hopes of changing things.
Is that not what every investment firm does?
No, some of them just want to sit back and collect money.
Okay, all right, I see.
Yeah, the activist ones are the ones that you worry about.
Right. I just assumed they were like trying to stop whaling or something. I didn't know it was specifically activists in how they want to treat the companies.
Yeah.
Every
time I also want to stop whaling. I don't know.
Every time whaling comes up, I think of that Nelson Muntz's poster in that one episode of The Simpsons that says "Nuke the whales."
Yeah. I think of that. I also think of the Whalers on the Moon episode of Futurama.
Yeah, it's all good.
I think that was Futurama, right?
That sounds correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing for GameCube has been decompiled, and I'm vibrating with the excitement. This is
I'm glad that was related and not just you were separately vibrating. And
no, I'm also vibrating, but I also am excited. This is very exciting. And the idea, someone already pitched in the Discord, like people could be adding new villagers to it. And the idea of a decompiled PC native GameCube Animal Crossing that can have third-party content added to it is, that's wild. Oh, I'm so excited for this.
I wonder if it'll still have e-reader support.
I don't know. I hope it turns into a thing. I want it to be a thing. Please, internet, make this a thing. Do it. Make it a thing, please. Can we do the thing? The Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster will not include the features added to the PSP version because Square Enix's standard operating policy is that they will not make definitive versions of anything ever, of any point in time ever, no matter what.
Yeah. So the supposed reason for this is they did bring back the original director and writer of the original Final Fantasy Tactics to make this remaster, and they were not involved with the PSP game and did not approve of the changes made in it.
Just put it in as an
Yeah.
It's dumb. That's a dumb reason.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think, I'm thinking about canceling my pre-order on this one. I don't like how it looks. It's missing some, it kind of seems like I should just play the PSP version.
Yeah, you can still revert to the original PS1 graphics if you choose.
Oh, that's good. I will definitely be doing that.
Yeah.
Definitely doing that. Microsoft and AMD announced that they're in development for the next Xbox console and that it'll be a console. And I don't believe them. I don't believe that when they say it'll be a console, that's going to be a console in the way that we think about it. What they mean is it's going to be a piece of consumer electronics that says Xbox.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Is where I'm at. They keep saying, "Oh, it's definitely going to be a traditional console," but I don't know.
They've been shying away. I mean, they're not even selling traditional games anymore.
I don't think it'll have a disc drive no matter what.
Yeah, I'm 100% out. As soon as they're like no physical media, I'm like no media, no bio. Like there's no
because I have all these Xbox and 360 and Xbox One and Xbox Series X games. That if it doesn't have a disc drive, I can't play them. So why bother?
Like I already have a PC. I already have digital only. I don't need that. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Sony's Bungie has indefinitely delayed their Marathon reboot due to quote passionate fan feedback, which is the corporate way to say people fucking hated it. I was already upset that they were bringing back Marathon and they were just making it a live service game. Right. So that's dumb.
But Sony's had such luck with live services lately.
I'm just not too upset to see this go. So whatever. Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, and 4 have all been added to GOG and are in the preservation program, their good old game preservation program, and you can get all of them together for $15 right now in their summer sales. So I kind of am thinking about it. I was wanting to get it on PS3.
I pulled the trigger because why not?
I'm kind of thinking about getting it there too because
I do want to make the note that on our Trello board where we have the list of all the topics that we think we should cover at some point, we have Devil May Cry listed like 4 times for some reason.
Well, what happened was I put Devil May Cry in there and then I forgot it was there and I put it in there again and you made fun of me for it and then I added it like 2 or 3 more times because it was funny. Yeah. And so now anytime after we finish the show, we're like, what do we want to do next time? The first suggestion is always, we do Devil May Cry. And yet, we have never done it.
Not done it yet. Well, now it's on GOG, so we might have to.
We might. Rumors point to Sony considering buying Warner Brothers Discovery, including WB Games, which, more consolidation, of course. So
yeah, I don't like all the consolidation. I fear who is going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery because they recently split their company up between the profitable division and the not profitable division. And companies only do that when they're expecting somebody to buy the profitable division.
Yeah.
And so somebody is about to buy them. And my fear is that it's going to be Apple or Amazon.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. So I don't know that Sony is any better, but
Sony is at least a company I trust for now to make games and release physical games. They still seem to be interested in doing that. I still have a lot of problems with Sony, and they seem to be wanting us to stop buying discs because they keep selling us PlayStations that don't fucking accept them.
Yeah, and also I fear that there might be some antitrust pushback because they do already own Sony Pictures, and buying Warner Brothers Pictures could be,
complicated
a lot.
Matters.
Yeah.
LRG and Square Enix announced a port of PS1 game Fear Effect to PS5 and Switch.
That's great for both of the people that enjoyed Fear Effect.
Cool. LRG knocking it out of the park. Plumbers don't wear neckties on a burned disc. And Fear Effect. Awesome.
Yeah, there is a small contingent of Fear Effect fans out there, and I don't mean to offend them, but you have bad taste.
I was about to say, I think you do, but then you proved my point. House of the Dead 2 remake coming in August for Switch, PC, PlayStation, Xbox releases coming later. So cool. House of the Dead 2, that'd be fun.
Yeah. And now we can all suffer like G did.
Gamisodes.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Gamisodes?
No, that says Gamisodes. Gamisodes and Bandai Namco have released a new Dig Dug game called Dig Dug New Frontier. Came out June 17th. Will be available until June 30th.
Yep. 2 weeks.
Why?
2 weeks.
Why?
2 weeks, Justin. You get 2 weeks to play it, and then it's gone. Possibly forever.
Otherwise, you'll have to stick with Dig Dug Deeper, I guess. No alternative. And finally, rumors say that Microsoft is working with the Xenia Canary emulator team to further expand their classics program on PC and Game Pass. I hope this is true.
Same.
I love this idea. So much community work has already been put into emulators that, one, I want this team to get real money, get really paid for this work that they've been doing for almost no money or probably costing them money every month.
Right.
Two, it means that we're going to get real dedicated people working on this, not just some Joe Blow at Microsoft that got saddled with their backwards compatibility program that they clearly don't want to do. This is cool. If this is a thing, this is a net positive for the industry, and I want to see this. So I hope that it turns out to be true, because I would love to see the Xenia team get taken into the fold. This is what companies should be doing for those of us in the world working to preserve the shit that they are making.
Isn't it also preservation when LRG makes a super limited print copy of a PS1 game that just lazily slapped an emulator on a disc for?
Look, technically, yes. They have very slightly increased the number of copies in the world of that exist.
Yeah.
There
is at least one more copy of Croc out there.
Yeah. Which brings us to our topic at hand, which is Koji Igarashi. I said it wrong. Koji Igarashi.
There you
Koji Igarashi. The Castlevania guy. Everybody knows this guy.
Mr. Castlevania guy. He did not create Castlevania.
No, but he became the Castlevania guy. He stole it. He stole Castlevania.
Yeah. He was not born into it. He adopted it.
There's the synopsis joke you couldn't figure out how to write.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
He was born 17th of March 1968 in Fukushima Prefecture, Japan. Best known for work on the Castlevania series.
Yeah.
I always make fun of Igarashi because the hat doesn't help, but I really love classic Castlevania.
Because you're wrongy, that's fine.
And so I'm always like, oh, Igarashi ruined Castlevania, but he's probably the reason we still have Castlevania. If Castlevania was not turned into the search action genre that it became and
we still have Castlevania?
No, but it's the reason we got more of it than we would have otherwise.
Right, there you go. That's the reason it didn't die 20 years earlier than it did.
Yeah, Castlevania would be a long lost memory a lot earlier.
Be back there with Bubsy and the other games.
But hey, maybe we'll get a new Lords of Shadow, Saturn. Maybe we'll get a sequel.
That seems unlikely because those guys have been working on Metroid.
Oh, yeah. Bummer.
Yeah.
Anyway, initial thoughts. I know of him. I've poked fun at him before. I know almost nothing about him. So this will be fun.
I didn't know a ton about him either, so this was fun to learn. And also, I just remember when I finished Symphony of the Night back in the 90s that I thought it was really weird that it said written by Iga in all capital letters at the end. So I was like, that's not a name, first of all.
It's his name.
That's like a share thing. You can't just have one name.
Yeah. So tell us about Koji Igarashi.
First, I have to say that I went to the Wikipedia first, like I usually do, just to kind of get a grip of where I'm going to start. And the first or second sentence in the biography about him was, his father was a lumberjack, period, full sentence. And I just like to stop right there. I think we're done.
There you go. The son of a lumberjack.
That's Koji Igarashi. His father was a lumberjack. So looking into other information about him.
Yes.
So He was apparently born roughly 100 years following the Battle of Aizu, which was an event in Japan where the Komine Castle in Shirakawa had been burned down. This is an event I know nothing about. I am not an expert on Japanese history.
Why is this?
I'm getting there. So this was a castle that was rebuilt later on in the 90s, but apparently Igarashi said in an interview that he could see the ruins of that castle from his bedroom window as a child, and he would dream up adventures exploring the castle. And as he became a teenager, he was given a camcorder by his parents, and he would go and explore the remains of the castle, and that was his influence for his later career. First of all, great story. Second of all, I don't believe you.
I don't believe this. This is weirder than Capcom wine.
Right?
What?
Great story, though. I don't believe you.
I don't.
Also,
Okay.
You know what? If you're going to make this great story, it's great that you were also born 100 years after it was burned down. That's a great... All this... this is the story you tell to Conan O'Brien when you're pitching your movie. I like it. It's great. Anyway.
I'm looking at the ruins of Komine Castle. It's not much to explore.
No. Yeah. So anyway,
I feel like in our head we want to imagine a Castlevania castle, but it doesn't go down underground. It's just it's not for people.
It's just a traditional Japanese castle that was burned down, and you know, like with the fancy Japanese castle roof, not like it's more of a Tenchu castle than it is a Castlevania castle.
Like it's not a large. I don't.
No.
What did he? I don't. Yeah, I don't know that I believe this. I don't.
But he had a camcorder.
I mean, it's his life. I don't want to be like, no, you didn't.
Checking out the ruins.
I mean,
I kind of want to be like, no, you didn't.
I would believe if he explored the castle grounds, because the castle grounds are quite large.
Well, I think that's what he was describing. Was the.
But then that's just mostly a field near a burned down building.
Yes.
I think he's trying to say he wandered around in a field near a burned down building and learned that it was a castle. And he's the Castlevania man, so.
So yeah, it has to. Anyway.
Also, let me. I want to pick on the phrase "born roughly 100 years."
Yeah.
So you could be off by 5 or 6 years, and that would still be accurate.
Yeah.
Born roughly 100 years. Oh, hold on. What he was born? What? 1968.
First of all, the interview that I saw with him was he said that he was born on the 100th anniversary of it, and then I looked it up, and I don't remember exactly when it was, but it wasn't exactly the 100th anniversary, so I added the roughly in there. That was my comment.
So he just lied.
Yes, and I think the interview that I saw was him selling Bloodstained, so I get he was trying to hype shit up.
All right, okay, this is some Kickstarter hype shit. All right,
yeah,
here's the thing. This you're a cool guy, Igarashi. You already made the most legendary Castlevania games. You already have continued to keep redefining the genre with Bloodstained. You're a legendary developer in the video game community. You don't also have to actually be Simon Belmont. You can just be a guy that does cool video games. We all already think you're cool.
See, every 100 years on the anniversary of that castle getting burnt down, a game developer is born.
I can't. And what makes it extra funny is he didn't make Castlevania. You know what I mean? Like, he just came in and was like, I guess I'll work on that. Yeah. Sure.
So, all right. So let's get to reality. Now that we've had our fun with the castle.
Bring us back down.
All right. So his introduction to video games was Pong. He was 10 years old and
roughly 110 years after
roughly 110 years after the castle burned down. He said he became passionate about games a couple years later after playing Crazy Climber in an arcade, which was a notable game at the time. I don't think it gets as much notoriety in modern era, but it was a notable game at the time.
Yeah.
He said that his family didn't own a computer, but when he was trying to learn how to program, he had access to a computer through a friend of his who had a computer, and he would also go to the local department store that was selling computers, or electronics store, I think he said, and he would practice programming on their display computer, which that's dedication. Because one, do you buy a floppy and like save your program at the end of the day, or do you just do as much as you can, hope that it can get somewhere and then give up when you have to leave the store. I don't know.
I just love the idea of someone working at a store deleting young Koji Igarashi, some of the earliest software he ever made, software that is so historically relevant to our medium, and being like, what the fuck is this stupid shit, and deleting it off their fucking thing at the end of the day.
Well, every 112 years after a castle burns down, somebody has to delete this software.
Can we just contextualize everything and how many years it's been since Coming to Castle burned down? Can that just be...
Yeah, I think that's necessary.
Yeah, my dad was born roughly 100 years after Coming to Castle burned down as well. He was born in 1960, so...
Yeah. So it's about 100.
About 100 years.
Now,
he could see it out his bedroom window from Kansas.
So the computers he was practicing BASIC on at the time, they probably did not have hard drives. This was pre-hard drive.
Right.
So anything he would have done would have either been erased or saved on a floppy disk, one way or the other. So upon graduating from university, Igarashi was recommended to a CG art company, Graphica, by one of his instructors. And he went and toured the job, and then they offered him a job. And this is the most Japanese thing that I read reading all of this, even more than the Japanese castle burning down. This company offered him a job after he did the tour, and he didn't know that he was going to be offered a job. And he was so embarrassed that he did not want the job, but they offered it to him. And if he had rejected it, that would have been very embarrassing for both him and that company. So instead... He went back to the company and begged them to retract the offer so that he wouldn't have to reject it and they wouldn't have to be rejected. And eventually he found their HR person and they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll retract the offer. And then they retracted the offer so that he could continue looking for work in video game development, which is what he wanted to do. And then he took his next job offer, which was at Konami.
This is 10 levels of Japanese deep. This is Japanese shit.
Yes. I was reading that. I was like, oh, that would never ever happen anywhere else in the world.
Please retract your offer so that I don't have to embarrass you by rejecting it.
Yeah, because it was like, if he rejected it, would be embarrassing to them and to him and risk him ever taking another job and all this shit. And I was like, that would never happen in America. Over here, they just call him up, be like, fuck your job.
Your job can bite me.
Yeah.
All right, so he's on at Konami, young, 120-something years after Coming to Castle burned down. He's working at Konami.
Yes. Yeah. So, this is about 120 years after Coming to Castle burned down, just for context,
roughly.
So he's taking the job at Konami. He's hoping to make video games, and so they immediately put him to work making educational software.
Oh, great. Awesome.
And he thought that like this was like kind of a joke or a prank or a test, and that they weren't really going to be making educational software.
Hazing the new guy, yeah.
And so they task him with making this business training simulator. And I found this quote from him in one of the interviews. He says, when our team received the brief, Konami's management used the word simulation. And we all loved Fire Emblem at the time. So, of course, we wanted to make games, not software. And we thought this meant that we could make a business-themed Fire Emblem game.
I fucking can't.
Yeah.
What would it be like? Japanese businessmen wailing at each other with briefcases? Like, what
I hope so.
All set around Komine Castle, the historical Komine.
Now that he is a success, I hope he goes back and revisits his business-themed Fire Emblem game.
God.
I want to play business-themed Fire Emblem so bad.
I would totally play that. Play the shit out of it. Just keep scooping up Japanese businessmen of different types.
Would there also be like the businessman dating simulator in the middle of it, like in a real Fire Emblem?
Right, where they all go on dates with each other and they all
go to sake bars and do karaoke.
Yeah, and they exchange briefcases. That's their wedding ceremony. Is they exchange briefcases with one another.
But they have to pick the one that they're going to marry by the 150th anniversary of the burning of Komine Castle.
Komine Castle, which of course is celebrated countrywide.
Yeah. So anyway, that game never got made. By the way,
what
they started working on it. It never happened. It got canceled.
I like that he's going on about embarrassment because he doesn't want a job. You know what's really embarrassing? Getting a job, and then when they say make this, you assume they meant to make a fucking video game, and you did the wrong. That's embarrassing.
I don't know if they ever got beyond, chatting with each other about their Fire Emblem game
I hope
or
there's
not,
a prototype somewhere.
Right?
Please let there be a prototype.
It'd be so great. So anyway, once that got canceled, he got put on a team tasked with creating tools for porting games to the PC Engine.
Okay.
And so he's finally in the actual video game area. We've gotten past the burning of Komine Castle. We've gotten past all the other stuff.
But did they ever get their business software?
they got canceled. All that got canceled.
No. All right.
So he's making tools to make games for PC Engine. His first credits with Konami are the PC Engine ports of Daytona Twinbee and Gradius 2. So now he's making games. And since he was already familiar with the workings of PCE, he was moved to a team that was making an early dating sim, what would become Tokimeki Memorial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in addition to assisting with programming, he was tasked with writing all of the plot, all of the scenario, everything. He had never written anything before. He had certainly never written a dating sim, and dating sims were still a relatively new genre.
I thought you were going to say he'd never been on a date before.
Well, he'd been on that one date on the 125th anniversary of the burning of Komine
You got to
Castle.
take someone. You can't go alone.
Yeah. So he ended up writing basically all of Tokimeki Memorial on his own. And it was a huge success for Konami, an unexpected success. And during the development of Tokimeki Memorial, he started dating a coworker who was on another team on a different PC game. For research. Actually, yes, he did say that it was research because he kept asking her where girls would want to go on dates, and she'd be like, I don't know.
And then he had the light bulb moment of, would you like to go there with me?
Right, yeah. I don't know if that's how it worked, but man, that would have been the smart move, right?
Yes, I'm doing research on how dating people works. Would you like to do research with? This is the greatest. I love this. Yeah, I'm going to tell Andrew to use this. So he's going on and be like, I'm doing research on dates.
So he would, and the person that he was dating was on the Rondo of Blood team. So she was working on Castlevania. And he said that he would take breaks in her office during the development just because he needed a break from the sickeningly sweet development of Tokimeki Memorial. So he wanted to play something dark, so he'd go play development builds of Rondo of Blood in her office.
Yeah, that's the life.
That said, I was trying to figure out who this woman is that is his wife. I cannot learn her name. I cannot find her in the credits of Rondo of Blood. Maybe I can. I don't know. It's all in Japanese. I can't find out if she started working at Konami while they were dating and then got a job on the Rondo team, or if she already worked there. I can't find any information about what her name is or what her exact job was on Rondo.
So they did get married, though.
They did get married. This is his wife now.
Right. Okay.
It's still to this day. They're still married.
Yeah. Allegedly, to this real human woman that exists.
This actual woman.
That made Rondo of Blood and wanted to hang out with the Tokimeki Memorial developer.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to find her now.
Yeah, I know. So, they he took her to clothing boutiques after she recommended that girls wanted to go to clothing boutiques.
All right then.
So anyway, Tokimeki Memorial comes out. It's a huge success. It becomes a minor cultural phenomenon in Japan, and the success of it led to Igarashi moving up at Konami.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time, Castlevania was being developed exclusively at Konami's main office.
Hold on. I found.
You think you found her?
I found the dumbest website.
Oh no.
Celebrity-birthday.com.
Uh-huh.
And I'm pretty sure this is written by AI. You ready?
Yeah.
According to our records, Koji Igarashi is possibly single and has not been previously engaged. As of December 1st, 2023, Koji Igarashi is not dating anyone. We have no records of past relationships, and you may help us by building dating records for Koji Igarashi.
Well, he is married, supposedly.
And then it says, drawing inspiration in Keiji Inafune, who had left Capcom to form his own studio and launch his game Mighty No. 9 via crowdsourcing, Igarashi decided to launch his own Kickstarter campaign. This is in the Who Is He Dating section.
Yeah, that's who he's dating. He's dating Kickstarter.
fucking internet is such a waste now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, it's not helpful at all. So at this point, the main games in the Castlevania series were all being developed at Konami's HQ in Kobe. Only spin-offs and side series games could be developed anywhere outside of Kobe, and Igarashi and his now wife worked in Tokyo. So they weren't on the Castlevania team. But since Igarashi was being moved up in Konami, he was tasked with helping with a Castlevania spinoff that was being developed in Tokyo, which would become Symphony of the Night. And he ended up being the head writer, programmer, and assistant director for the game. And because Symphony was a spinoff, the team was given pretty wide leeway. He said they could basically do whatever they wanted. So the first thing they decided to do is ditch whips, because they said that was too long distance. They wanted something closer range, and they wanted to be able to play as a vampire. That was their main premise. And he said that the team ended up being incredibly passionate about it, but also thought that the game would be forgotten pretty quickly, that it would just be like a little, one-off side story Castlevania game that nobody remembers.
See it. I mean, you're making it really different. You're really changing up the formula, and it's the follow-up to Rondo of Blood.
Yeah. Well,
holy shit.
Even then, Rondo was considered a spinoff.
What was it?
Yeah.
Huh.
The last quote main series game was Super Castlevania 4.
Oh, they're both way better than Castlevania 4.
Right?
I'm on record as being a Castlevania 4 not enjoyer.
Yeah, because it's a bland game.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Anyway,
I'm with you. So as the game was wrapping up, the team thought that the playtime was a bit too short, so they flipped the castle upside down, doubled the map size.
Easy fix.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that in my next D&D campaign.
Yeah, just flip the map upside down and do it again. So the game was an unexpected success for Konami, just like Tokimeki Memorial. Sold way more than management expected it to. And simultaneously, the next mainline Castlevania game, Castlevania 64, did not. It did very poorly.
You don't say.
So Iga was put in charge of Castlevania Chronicles, which was the remake of the Sharp X 68,000 game on PS1. It was another spin-off, but it was still another Castlevania. Let him continue with the series.
Sure.
And then the Castlevania 64 team, the team at Kobe, the main series Castlevania team, saw how well Symphony of the Night did, and they were like, well, we'll just do that. So they made Circle the Moon on Game Boy as the next main series Castlevania game. And it did pretty well, but it didn't do as well as Symphony of the Night. So Konami management was like, well, if you're just going to do a game like that team did anyway, let's just give it to that team.
We'll let that team do it.
Yeah, so then Igarashi was given full control over the series, and he took over with Harmony of Dissonance, which was considered a mainstream or main series game by Konami, and it was his first main series game. And that one was also a success. Igarashi would go on to produce another 10 games in the Castlevania series, including remakes and spin-offs, over the following 8 years, which is a lot.
Was Harmony the one we did? Did we do Harmony or Aria? We did an episode on
We did Aria.
I feel like we've done more Castlevania episodes than any other single franchise.
Have we?
I think we've done like 3 or 4. We did Rondo.
Maybe.
We've done Harmony. We did the Genesis one. What's it called?
Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. We've done at least 3 or 4.
Yeah. We've also done several Marios and Zeldas.
That's true. Done a couple of those, I guess. I guess they're almost as popular as Castlevania.
Almost.
It is what it is. Anyway.
Someday someone will remember this Zelda series.
Possibly. I heard they're making a movie of it, so maybe then people will give a shit about it.
Maybe.
Anyways, so Harmony comes out. Harmony's a success.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he wasn't given the full. I just assumed as soon as Symphony came out, they're like, all right, here's all the Castlevania. Please continue doing this forever.
No, they
it
didn't.
seems stupid not to.
No, the other team was still technically in charge, and they didn't want to disrespect them or whatever.
They didn't make Symphony of the Night.
Right? Seriously. So, after he did Harmony, he did another 10 games and, kept doing Castlevania. The portable Castlevania games were almost all successes from that point forward.
They're good.
But Igarashi struggled to reached the same success with the console games. He had done Lament of Innocence and he did Curse of Darkness. Both of those were PS2. And he blames Konami's insistence on making the game 3D polygonal over the shoulder.
I agree
for
with
why
that
they
because
failed.
he does really awesome 2D search action games. He does not do really awesome third-person action games.
Yeah. Well, those were still supposed to be search action. He was trying to make the same kind of thing just in 3D, but it didn't work.
It's just kind of, you got to take a different angle. I don't know what it is about search action where it's like when you go 3D, you got to do some other stuff.
Yeah.
Like even Metroid, when it went 3D, it was like, we're going to make it a little different.
Yeah. And not as good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hurtful.
Yeah. Well, I got to be honest here.
I don't know what it is about like the transition to 3D that seems to fundamentally change search action games.
Well, it fundamentally changes a lot of games. You saw
true.
a lot of games that
That's
used
true.
to be 2D really fall apart when it came to the 3D transition.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Anyway.
After those two didn't do as well as Konami wanted, Konami chose to make the next console Castlevania games with a Western developer, which upset and frustrated Igarashi. But he continued to do some work with Konami, one on the portable games, and also he did Odomedius Excellent on Xbox 360. I did not know that was him, but it was.
Know that either.
Also a game called Lead Me's, which was a Kinect exclusive game that Konami put out that I had never heard of. But that was his last efforts at Konami, presumably because they took the Castlevania franchise away from him and he just wasn't feeling it.
It seems like they didn't really want to give it to him in the first place. I mean, they held out to fucking Harmony. Like, damn.
So he continued to become frustrated with Konami. They were trying to move him into doing more social media and mobile titles, which was really the direction of all of Konami at that point.
True.
And simultaneously, he sees Inafune doing Mighty No. 9 on Kickstarter. And he's like,
I learned about that at celebrity-birthday.com.
Yeah, well, that's the only place you can learn about it. That's I have it credited in my notes here, see?
Fucking slop site.
Yeah. So he kept getting feedback from fans over the years saying they wanted another full-scale, full-budget Symphony of the Night style game. He sees Inafune have all this success with Mighty No. 9's Kickstarter. Not with the game, but with the Kickstarter.
Right, yeah.
The game wasn't out yet. We didn't get to see how that worked. So
how'd that work out? Everybody watching that new Mighty No. 9 TV show?
Oh, yeah. How many TV shows are they up to now?
It's great. I can't wait for the movie, the sequels and stuff. Mighty No. 10, I guess they'll call it. I don't know.
Oh, they're up to Mighty No. 12 now.
Oh, my gosh. Time flies.
So he doesn't even go to Kickstarter first. He goes to private investors first because he's like, I want to try to do this the right way, the way that companies have always done it. And he gets some funding, quite a bit of funding, really, through private investors. He just needs the last little bit before he goes to Kickstarter. So his goal on Kickstarter was to raise $500,000, which is a lot, but compared to the total budget of the game, wasn't that much.
Right.
And on the first day, he raised $1.5 million.
I'd say he succeeded then.
Yeah. Ultimately, the campaign would go on to raise $5.5 million for Bloodstained. Which he also got an undisclosed amount additionally through private funding and late backers. It is estimated that the total campaign for the game was somewhere around $30 million. But there was a series of delays as the scope of the game grew. The game would ultimately release in June of 2019, 4 years after the Kickstarter. There were the mobile ports the following years. There was also the spin-offs and all that stuff. It was very well received by both critics and fans. Went on to sell at least 2 million units, not counting the sales from Kickstarter. And of course, the sequel was announced this month as of recording.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was announced just in time for the 150th anniversary of the burning of Komine Castle.
Finally, I wonder who he's going to take. He's single, you know.
Oh, yeah. And his wife should go out dating.
It's funny seeing him compared to Inafune because they do kind of have similar trajectories, except Inafune seemed to get the
burnout.
Burnout, yeah, but I was going to say receive a lot more recognition in his era at his respective company he's known for working at.
Right. Yeah.
You know, Inafune was like, oh, he's the guy that made Mega Man, which isn't even true.
Right. And also he was given a ton of promotions within Capcom during his time there.
So it seems like he really got, the recognition for it, and the industry remembered him for it. I feel like Igarashi was like, I don't know, maybe we'll give you another game. Make one of these shitty ones, and we're
Yeah.
gonna copy you within our own company.
Right.
It just kind of seems like he got jerked around a little bit,
Yeah. Like, granted, it was Konami. They're known for that.
Yeah, but it's kind of sad. I like if I was Igarashi, I'd be looking over at Inafune like, man, we kind of had similar trajectories at similar companies, and like I sort of got the shaft a little bit,
Right.
and it kind of sucks.
I feel like Igarashi has done better since he left Konami.
I would say so, yeah.
Because Artplay's been doing pretty well. I mean, it's not like a household name or anything, but
no.
Bloodstained has sold pretty well. He's got a reasonably sized staff. He hasn't tried to be overly ambitious or grow too quickly or take on 1,000 projects at once.
Right.
But they have seen some success with pretty much every Bloodstained title they've put out, which is all they've done so far. But
I assume that he calls Inafune every week and is like, now I'm winning.
yeah, he's like, how's Mighty Number 9 doing, bucko?
What is Inafune even doing now?
His company was acquired by Level 5.
Oh.
And Level 5 just recently shut it down.
Oh. So
And
he's
I think-
unemployed.
And I think Inafune quit before that and tried to start something else, but I don't think it went anywhere. Maybe he's making some mobile games or something.
Probably he's
Yeah.
doing mobile
I think we did an episode on him, so we can probably go back to that. And look.
We did.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah. So he left in 2024, and he has become an executive officer of Rocket Studio.
I'm sure it's great.
Rocket Studio. Anyway, we're in the middle of
no, that was it.
Igarashi.
That's basically where we're at. It's back to today where they are announced the sequel.
right.
to
What
Bloodstained.
150 years after?
Yeah.
Coming
150
to
some
Castle.
years after
150
the burning.
Roughly 150.
157-ish years after the burning of Komine Castle, you have to announce a sequel to Bloodstain.
I feel like Igarashi has done so much for the search action genre. I love classic Castlevania.
Yeah.
I'm not the search action guy. It's
Right.
not my favorite genre. It doesn't mean I
love
don't
it.
enjoy them.
Yeah.
But he has probably single-handedly done more for that genre than probably any other one person, honestly.
Yeah, anyone since the development of the first Metroid, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And continues to really. I suspect we haven't even seen the best that we're going to see from Igarashi.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's going to end up being one of these Bloodstained sequels that really is a true
I hope so.
masterclass.
I hope that isn't a cursed statement we'll come back to later.
Yeah. I don't know. We also had high hopes for Blizzard at one point in time when we did an episode on them, but
Right.
it's nice to see him just getting out there and doing what he does well, and continuing to evolve a genre that he's kind of the sort of, unofficial steward of.
Yeah. I do have to mock him for
Yes, please.
during the Bloodstained Kickstarter, which I gave more money to than I probably should have.
I remember.
His introductory video where he introduced himself and everything and pitched the whole Kickstarter, he referred to the genre as Igavania, and I can't accept that. I don't forgive that.
I'm just gonna say, if anyone deserves to have the search action genre named after him,
That's
it's
fair.
him.
Yeah, but
There's-
it's still a
there's a little-
stupid name.
Yeah, it's a stupid name. It's just, again, it's one of those things where my complaint about Metroidvania as a genre is I want my genres to indicate something about the game.
Right.
Igavania, to someone that doesn't play video games or maybe doesn't know Castlevania or maybe doesn't know who Igarashi is, says fucking nothing.
Right.
Even Metroidvania requires knowledge of some Metroid and Castlevania games, but not necessarily all of them.
Though I think with younger generations, they know the word Metroidvania more than they know either Metroid or Castlevania.
Sure, and you pick it up through context clues, but I've always maintained search action is, I don't know. We've had the discussion. We've had so many discussions about genre designations and how stupid they are, but if they at least give me some information about the game, just something, anything is more useful than nothing. But We still need to figure out what to call roguelikes because it doesn't tell anyone anything.
What kind of hat is that he wears?
So we were getting into final thoughts, and I think we've
Okay.
kind of said everything we have to say. So we're going to
Yeah.
reserve this as hat discussion time.
Okay, yeah.
So he's
Is it a
in every
cowboy
picture,
hat? Or is it
he
a
seems to be wearing a cowboy hat. But here's the thing: we as Texans
Yeah.
are not accustomed to cowboy hats like this.
Yeah,
because
this looks
his
like
cowboy hat is a tiny little baby cowboy hat.
Yeah, it looks like a Crocodile Dundee cowboy hat or something.
Yeah, it's a very tiny cowboy hat.
Right.
And
We're
he has
used to like
multiples of them.
10-gallon hats.
Yes, and we are used to the big Texas hat, which are the large rancher style cowboy hats.
Right.
That are not so tiny. And he wears these little tiny. But I assume it's because he has to live in Japan, and it's a country of smaller spaces.
Right.
And he's got to
that's
fit
fair,
his
yeah,
hat.
it's
I
gotta
don't think you
his
can
hat.
fit.
Yeah.
You can't fit a Texas cowboy hat into
No.
a Japanese office building to work on
No.
a computer. It wouldn't
That'd
make
be
it.
impossible.
Yeah, we have to have widened doorways to fit our hats through them.
Yeah, you might be able to fit it into a Japanese electronics store to work on that computer.
My favorite restaurant close to me, it's called Sweetie Pies.
Yeah.
If you're ever in Decatur, Texas, which is a town away from
Please,
me.
First, if you're ever in Decatur, Texas, we're sorry.
Yeah, I apologize immensely, and you should leave quickly. But one, you should get some coffee at the coffee shop in the square. But you should also eat at Sweetie Pies because it's really good fucking food, and it's really rare to find in rural Texas, where it's mostly just McDonald's
Right.
And
On
cafes
Subways.
that serve trash garbage.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point was, cowboy hats are so ubiquitous where I live that in Sweetie Pies, they have a cowboy hat rack that is built to hold cowboy hats exclusively.
Yeah.
Because when you store a cowboy hat, it must be stored upside down.
Right.
I don't know why. I don't own a cowboy hat, but there's
either.
for some reason they want to store them upside down, and it's these little two prongs that go out on either side, and you put your hat upside down, and they have a whole like section of their wall dedicated so that when you come in, you can take your hat off and leave it by the door in a nice hat rack so that you have room to physically fit into the rest of the building because your hat is 10 feet wide.
Yeah, my grandfather had one of those cowboy hat racks.
Yeah, and it holds it upside down. Why do they gotta hold them upside down?
I don't know. I never
Maybe
understood.
it's because they hide their money and stuff in it, so they don't want it to fall out.
Oh,
So
there you go.
they kind of.
And then they leave it in the hat rack so that anybody can just walk by and take it.
That's true. Well, but then if you see him taking it, you can shoot him with your 6-shooter that you
Well,
got
yeah.
on your hip because you
'cause
don't
we're Texan,
surrender
we
that
have to have a
eat.
6-shooter.
Yeah, we all got 6-shooters.
Wired.
My wife and I always make fun of the cops in Twin Peaks
Oh, yeah.
because I don't know who their costume person was, but they got these guns on and they're always like dangling way out from their hips and sticking out and bumping into stuff. And we're always like, man, that's not safe all the fucking time.
And he's going to end up shooting himself.
Koji Igarashi, cool guy, still making
Yeah.
really cool games, possibly some of his best.
Yeah, I'm greatly looking forward to the new Bloodstain that was just announced.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it is at least as good as the last one. So we will see how that goes.
It is exciting
Also,
to get to.
I forgot to mention in the news, but speaking of Koji Igarashi news, I got an email from the Bloodstained Kickstarter from 8 years ago, whenever that was, saying that they are finally shipping out the PC release of the game this month.
Well, there you go.
Because they said that they were waiting until all of the DLC and patches were done with the game before they ever shipped the PC version because they want it to be full on disc. And so they are finally shipping it in the year 2025 now that no one has had a disc drive in 20 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It is nice to get to cover a developer that we don't eventually go, I guess now they sadly make mobile games and have mostly retired, which is, I feel like the last few developers we've covered has kind of been the story. So it's cool to cover someone that really, I think, is
still going.
Still going and possibly still in their prime.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's not in its prime?
The Komine Castle?
Our Patreon. Komine Castle is far past its prime. We've peaked. I think we've peaked.
Yeah.
And we're just in this slow, spiraling decline.
Yeah.
So if you want to come be part of that, patreon.com/Retro Warriors. You can Talking Wizards, read long, uncut versions of this show. It's not bad, I promise. It wasn't a good sales pitch. It's good stuff. It's good content. It's a lot of it. If you
Yeah,
like
it's a
listening
lot
to
of
us
content.
and you want to hear like a whole lot more of us, there's
Yeah.
a ton. There's so
You-
much.
Yeah.
We've tried doing other things
Mhm.
for people, like streams and magazines and stuff. People don't want that. They want us to talk about shit. So that's all the Patreon is. It's just a shitload of us talking about shit
There's a
nonstop
lot of
for
that.
hours.
We-
I've done the math
Justin just won't
before.
stop. You put a microphone in front of him. He just
I
keeps
won't.
talking.
I've done the math before, and it's
Mhm.
like because normally we release for people that aren't on the Patreon, you get the regular show, and so you get like hour and a half long show. So it ends up being
Yeah.
like 5 to 6 hours a month.
Yeah.
I think all the extra stuff and the uncuts like almost doubles the amount of us.
It's probably more than double.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of time. Anyway, we want to thank the following patrons for their money, starting with Jerry Voz,
And Dan, the longtime listener and frugal consumer.
McFlurry XD,
Ebucel.
Dean W. McFarland.
Novocaine FS.
Congratulations, your Bidoof evolved into Dooblemooch.
Disc Raft.
Marcus.
And Gassy.
They all gave us money, so
Yeah.
thanks for the money.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We're going to
and
spend it on Jujubes.
We're gonna spend it on Choo Peas. Anyway, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so we're gonna be done doing this. I think we'll be done.
You're going to be done.
We're doing it in a couple of weeks and see how that is, and then it'll be a good time. I'll be back from vacation. I'll be refreshed. Saturn.
Hey.
Vacation is supposed to refresh people. Did you know this?
Is that how that works?
I've never been refreshed from a vacation. I don't know what kind of fucking weirdos out there are like, oh man, my vacation makes me feel rested and relaxed. What is that? Why? Is that why people go on them?
No.
See, I didn't think it was true. I didn't think it was true. I find them stressful and weird.
Yeah, I enjoy parts of vacation. I don't enjoy the planning. I don't enjoy the not being at home.
Yeah, I'm excited to enjoy the great state of Virginia.
Yay.
So, anyway, we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening. And as always, let us cling
cling together.